So, when two vegans get into an argument, is it still called a beef?
What's up, guys? Welcome to the A F.o.O.L Podcast, and this is number 67. 67. We've been waiting a long time for number 67. We've got a special guest. That is James, a.k.a. LeggoMyJamesO, down in the corner. James loves trains just like us. This is Joey's channel, a.k.a. BrickTrains. Yep. And down below is the star of the show, none other than Jabbo, a.k.a. BrickTsar.
I'm just here to run my mouth.
Well.
So you'll learn, James, that we, even though we try to do notes, we kind of go down rabbit holes quite often.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
we do it all the time.
So we're excited to have a new up-and-coming YouTuber, train lover, BrickLink store runner. You fit right in with us.
Loves to open old box.
Yes. Not afraid to open a sealed set.
I know. I really appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you were doing a bunch of collectors a big favor by opening all those sets.
Oh, thanks.
You're increasing the value of the leftovers, the ones that are still sealed.
Exactly.
So are these sets that you've recently acquired, or are they sets just out of your collection?
These ones I've recently acquired. I'm actually trying to build the entire World City train collection. My grandpa actually had some of the World City train sets, and I acquired them through him. And I'm picking up the last ones that I never had. But I only have a few sealed sets in my collection, but I'll probably open them at some point in time.
That's always the tough one, the decision to open or not.
Yeah.
So you've been doing YouTube for about 7 months?
Yes.
Is that right? That seems like
that's about right. Yes, 6-7 months by now. Yep.
How long have you been doing BrickLink?
I've been doing BrickLink since probably 2015. I started on a small scale where I would sell sets here and there. It really started with me growing up. I always played with Lego, and same with my friends. And then everybody started growing out of them, and I then had the option to pretty much buy everybody's collections, and that's what I did. And then it got to a point where I had just had so much that I decided to start selling a few sets here and there. And then once I started seeing, a decent paycheck every once in a while, I decided to continue with the store and grow it to what it is today. But I mainly, within the past 3 years, is when I really did a lot of, the work to grow the store where it is today.
You see a lot of times people will get into doing BrickLink to try to help further their Lego collecting hobby, and then all of a sudden BrickLink consumes their time. It's a very slippery slope. Your YouTube channel's been doing really well. You're gonna be at 2,000 subscribers before.
Yeah, possibly. Actually, I was amazed once I hit the 1,000 mark. I was extremely excited, and then it just kept going up. And a lot of that was because of one really good video I put out, and now I'm trying to stick to that method of good content, giving the viewers what they want to see up front, and then that way with an interesting thumbnail to kind of grab them to the video.
That's what I like about your videos, is that you'll take a topic, but you relate it to like a set. Like when you did the old gray change to the new gray, you were looking at your set, and it made me think, because I was like, I forgot about this. I forgot about this set being in the transition, and then I was like, wait a minute, do I have both versions?
Yeah, that set in particular, when number one, the high speed train, I really thought it was going to be, your locomotive and 2 train cars, just like every other high speed train. And then when I realized they sold them separately, then I was shocked when I found out it was the new colors. And then I figured that would be a good way to title the video. And
So did you remember that? So for those that don't know what we're talking about, so James did a video, and he said to intro the video that basically a lot of people stopped buying Lego because of this, and it's when they changed the colors. Were you? I don't want to make you younger than what I think you are.
You're good.
I told him no pop quizzes.
Oh no, I'm fine. I can answer questions.
Do you remember that 2004 2005 transition?
I don't, because I would have been only 6 at the time.
Oh my god!
And I honestly, until probably around 2008 is when I probably realized, hey, this isn't just an old gray that's faded. It's an actual, its own color. And they transitioned to the light bluish gray. And then I did learn a lot about it throughout the years, but never really got to see that transition when buying sets.
It struck a chord with me because when I started on the internet, I had found a website that this German Lego collector had, and he was cataloging all the Lego train sets, and I didn't.
Okay.
Growing up, I never knew about these trains existed because they were never sold here in the United States. And when that gray color change happened, he basically quit for a while.
Yep.
Oh man,
He was so mad he quit doing stuff, and he's back now. But it was like, yeah, people literally did quit.
So how many sets are like that train car? How many sets are available in a version with the both gray colors with different set numbers?
That's a good question. I tried to do a quick look, and unless you got an answer.
No, I don't. That's why I put it down there to ask the question, because I had no idea that train was available like that.
I don't know a number either, but and I actually, when I saw that question you had, I tried searching in multiple forums to see, did somebody have an answer, because and nobody does. It's something that you probably have to go through everything on BrickLink from, I'd imagine, 2003 to even 2005. You could stretch it out to and see, but the problem is sets such as the UCS Star Destroyer, that's only listed as one set, but it does say in the BrickLink description this set came in variations, and that you would just probably have to go set by set within those years and make a documented list, which I could do.
Really gets this messed up is I think DACTA and the education stuff, I think it started with the new light bluish gray back in as early as 2002, or maybe even a little before that.
Oh, okay.
I think they had, so there's possibility that some of those, because those sets we didn't really get, I didn't get them. There was no way I was buying, nor did I even know that they really existed, the DACTA sets. But
so Joey, you're the plastic guy. He mentioned in his video about the color palette. So did that they changed it so it was easier to mix the colors, or?
That is, do you have a reference for that? Yeah.
Yes, I did actually read up on it, and I'm almost positive the one article I read was either somebody associated with Lego or directly from Lego. And their main problem was, as they started growing immensely as a company, you're increasing, and molds really don't matter. You can keep creating different molds. To create the colors they have today, they do say that you can use, your primaries and a few other hues to create everything within the palette, where their old colors, they had to have separate pieces to mix or just order them in that color to create those parts. And from a cost perspective, to kind of scale it financially, and then make sure it's always accurate and at least very close to tolerance of what the color will stick to. That's why they went with that color palette. I read quite a bit up on that, and I could actually share you a link to the article.
That's just interesting history.
It took me a long time to come to realization that the new colors are better. I was more, I hated the new bright pink. So if you go back, and Earl knows this, back at, I think, like in the early days when I would do haul videos, whenever I'd buy from a BrickLink store, I would buy as many, if not all, of the original pink parts that they had, no matter what they were.
Gotcha.
It started getting where it was too expensive to do that. I said, I'm going to try to buy all the pink that there is. Because I remember that Nathan Sawaya, I can never say his name. He had he was showing his room where he has all of his parts, and he had this one little tub of pink.
The original pink.
Okay, I can get that much pink.
The new colors are
looks better.
It does.
I mean, I was shocked when I heard that, people were kind of outraged and that people did quit, building for a while. But I could also understand where, if I was, even the 9V track, you look at that, if I was always collecting that and then they switch over to the RC, that's even a change, where if you're a builder that has such a, a huge city or mocks, that probably would be very frustrating.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this era that you're trying to collect, the World City, yeah, you're going to have that mix of old gray and
Yeah.
dark bluish gray. And actually, this is the case where the newer one is actually less common.
Yeah.
They had
True.
the other one for like
Right.
15 years, and then just a couple of years to 3 or 4 years with the dark blue. I mean, yeah, the dark bluish gray.
Well, it's the big problem is the people like us that are been doing it for a while. We just don't like change. We're old and set in our ways.
No, once you get stuck with something, you want it to stay that way. And
Yeah.
I agree with that.
You have picked the vault set for us, which is a set we use. We like to try to pick a vintage set. Yes, the
Yes.
The-
You're
Jedi Starfighter.
hmm
Very nice.
I remember that set.
And no, it is not sealed.
So why that
Because-
set, James?
Yeah, tell us your
This-
story.
This set, I grew up with this set. It was one of the first Lego sets I remember actually getting. I had Star Wars sets from this time frame, and I'm not entirely sure which set was my first because I have an older brother, and I had his Legos and also Lego from. I said Legos, I meant Lego. But
You'll never be in the land now.
you could have like a jar for you put a nickel in every time. But this was just one of those sets where I remember getting it, opening it, building it, and I brought this with me everywhere. And I was actually had this set for so long, and it always fell apart on me. And I was good enough to actually, I could rebuild this set without the instructions, no
Yeah.
problem, if I have the pile in front of me. And I loved the idea of having a starship that you can fly around as a kid. It has Obi-Wan as a figure. And it's just a great play set, and also, especially for somebody that's a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
And that's why.
So
It looks good for the era too. For 2003.
Yeah,
It's still
2002.
2002.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
2002
Right.
to 2003, and it was like a $20 set. So,
Yes. Yeah.
and it was the Star Wars era of the yellow minifigure too.
Yep.
So there was a $20 set. How many pieces are in that set?
138, but 135 if you take out the parts for the figure.
Wow, it was $20 in 2003.
Yep.
Mhm.
Great set though. We're now.
Oh,
I think they're over
I'm just
100
thinking.
sealed.
Today that would be probably $30 retail.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of
is there
bigger
any-
parts for the set too, though.
Go ahead.
So you got the double thing now. You're collecting Star Wars and trains.
Yes. Yeah, I've always been collecting Lego Star Wars clones, and I do have one of every clone ever made, and that's a collection I want to continue growing.
Oh,
Aside from the clones, though, I haven't collected a whole much more with Star Wars. And then as far as trains, I've always enjoyed trains growing up, and now I love every time I can get my hands on a new train set, because there are so many throughout the years that I still don't have, which will be nice to continue the collection for years to come.
Yeah, it's just some of those older ones are pretty pricey.
Yep. I've seen. That's why if I can get one here and there and keep the collection going, that's a good.
yeah. I think
goal.
the thing that you'll find, I don't know which ones like you're still wanting to get, but like Earl, we had talked about this in a previous episode. He was trying to piece together that Burlington Northern Santa Fe locomotive. And there's so many people that try to piece it together, but there's, you got the rare elements
Mhm.
that make it hard. And sometimes people will sell these things on eBay, and they'll be missing those key parts. So that's the challenge of buying discontinued, in-demand stuff.
That's what I did. I used I think there's green doors, and I used 1x3s in place of the doors because the doors were so expensive. And even the train base, the actual train base, I think it's supposed to be orange, or yellow, and that's the only set. Whatever color it's supposed to be, that's the only set that one comes in.
Oh, are you talking about the BNSF
Yes.
locomotive?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, that's
actually
what
acquire that one.
BNSF stands for Burlington Northern.
Northern
Santa Fe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
Hey, so I have a whole channel dedicated to trains,
I've seen.
and I'm always being corrected
Gotcha.
because Yeah, it's just I'm like you. I like to collect. I don't worry about the if I'm saying it right or not. It's just, hey, I like
Right.
this.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's a cool
There's-
channel that I've seen, the train channel. Sorry, Joey.
No, you're fine. TrainsR is a good channel. And that's the thing, train collectors are a special breed of, they're just a special breed. And then when you add Lego in there, it's
two worlds that really don't meld together real well, because in the Lego community, they don't want to play with the other things.
Right.
In the train community, they don't care. They'll mix and cut and kit bash and change and work together, and different manufacturers work together.
Yeah.
Or don't get mad that somebody's running different brands with their one train. But Lego's like, we're only Lego.
We're only Lego. Don't use Don't mix up the colors. Don't mix up the stickers. Don't. Yeah, it's crazy. So while we're still talking about trains and stuff here, I just bought a Metroliner because it's one that I haven't had in my collection.
Ooh. Really?
Which version of the Metroliner?
It's supposed to be the older one, the 4, 5. What is it?
Does it come with the box and the instructions? So
See, no, it's got the instructions, but it does not have the box. And there was a guy on eBay that had a box, and he had parts of the set. He had most of the cars. He had the one car and the engine, and I don't know. I tried to make an offer, and he declined it. I was like, okay, so I didn't counter offer, but it ended up selling, so he got his money. But then this other one has 3 cars in it and one of the locomotives, but it has both versions and then an extra one, and some track and the station and the people. So we'll see. It actually showed up today, but I haven't done the video, so I haven't opened it.
When you say 3 cars, you mean 3 cars total, or 3 cars plus the locomotive? Because the rear car looks just like the front car almost.
Yeah, I think I only have one, so the locomotive with the motor, but I don't think I have a second one for the rear car. But there was an alternate build for the car, and in that one he has the standard build, the alternate build, and a second standard build. Was what was in the auction.
Well, that's pretty good, because those cars alone are pretty pricey.
Yeah, but now that means I got to get the what was it, the club car?
Yeah, the
that's
rear
a pricey
end
one.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
So I don't have any of the Metroliner sets. That's on the list.
Well, when I saw it, I was like, I gotta. It's a good enough. I hope it was a good enough deal.
Good thing it's not wasn't January.
You're right. It wasn't done in January. It was early February. Like I said, it just showed up. So,
but you can still get the Metroliner cheaper than some of the new sets that are coming out today.
Well,
they have so many $500 sets these days.
Yeah. The new one that was today, that was
Rivendell.
Kind of crazy, because the first thing you say the first picture you see of it is a leak, and then 60 people.
Yeah,
I don't see that.
Yeah, well, that's because
I feel.
That's because you unfollowed the LAN.
It's the key to not having your Instagram feed look the same.
Oh, and I've been fighting it for 2 days now. It's just that set over and over and over again. What was cheap ass Bricks got? I guess what did he have the leaked picture? He
made a snarky comment on it, and then somebody said, "What's the problem?" Well, if you don't know what the problem is, you don't.
Right.
Where did the leaks come from?
Well, I would say a LAN member.
And then takes a picture and sends it to somebody.
And it's a specific day that they're allowed to release it.
So we're going to go ahead and go down the rabbit hole of the LAN, because I've always wondered, it is so easy to watermark pictures. It is absolutely trivial for Lego to either put metadata in or actually watermark the picture in a way that you can't see it, but they can tell it. They could know which LAN member leaked those pictures. And
Not
it kind of makes
a picture of your set.
Well, but they're even the promotional pictures that they're provided. To them, they think it's all the same picture, but it is trivial for them to each get their own picture.
There are still people out there that do not care. My son was looking at Instagram, and he was scrolling through this page, and every single post had the big confidential watermark
Mark
on it. I'm
on
like, how, as I said, how's this channel? I mean, how's this
Still
Instagram account not
going.
getting taken down yet?
Because it's allowed. You know, either the original, somebody really does leak it, and then Lego pushes the button and tells the land, go ahead. Or there's a specific day and it's treated like a leak, but it's coincidental that you get 60 posts on the same day for the same leak, you know.
Yeah. I like the days better when I got a catalog in the mail, and that's when I found out what was available.
Yeah. Those were good days.
I haven't got a catalog in the mail in like, I think I've gotten one in the last.
You can
4
still
months,
get them. You can still get them. You have to, they'll send them to
you
you.
get them at the store, but
They still mail me a catalog.
I got either winter or, I guess I got the winter one for last year.
I think that's the last one I got.
Okay.
And it's really only a recent thing with this fascination with leaks. That's a YouTube, Instagram creation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how much of it is really just the leak part is manufactured too.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll get some backwood picture from overseas. You know, it's like a picture of the corner of the box, and it's not the actual.
Well, and the one picture I saw was a screen grab from the video that was taken like 8 months ago of the set, when the designer was showing it to whoever. Somebody had the video, so
I want to see more fake leaks.
Fake.
It is a nice looking set, but I don't think I'm going to spend $500 on it.
I'm not. I didn't collect any of the first Lord of the Rings, so.
Weird question, but where do you guys think it? How do you think it will affect Lego long term with selling these, very expensive sets? If they continue to go down this road, do you think they'll still have, customers that are always willing to buy them, or do you think at some point they will start to, decrease price or, I guess, move towards smaller sets and not?
Well, the thing is, there's no shortage of the smaller sets, and these big sets they're really targeted to the adult collectors, which is something they used to never do.
Right.
And when they miss on one, they show up early on clearance, like the foosball table, one of Jabo's favorite sets. Favorite failures.
For the stadiums. Yeah.
So, you just got to wonder, it's, if you produce 10 $500 sets and one of them doesn't hit, I don't think it bothers them any.
Gotcha.
I think they're making too many. I mean, but I don't know what the right number is. But you saw some like the Hulkbuster thing and some others. They were immediately on sale right after they released them. I guess they're back to full price now.
But I don't think it hurts their feelings any.
No,
because they just come up with another set. I mean, what are they going to do? They intended for it to have a shelf life of 3 years, so maybe they'll just retire it early. It'll have a year shelf life.
Yeah.
So what has happened for me, and I'm a minority in a lot of ways. Not as a person, but as a my interest.
That needs to be like a short clip right there. That'll get you viral.
But it's like the English language is just a problem for me. Anyway, so like I was collecting Lego ideas. Right, I like the Lego idea sets, and I was getting. I would get them even if I didn't particularly care for the set. Lego has broke me of that because they've made so many $high sets. I finally stopped getting them, and now I'm back to where now I'm buying them the way I should. I'm only buying the ones that I want to buy.
Yep.
Instead of all of them. So that's probably the way you should buy anyway. You should only buy what you want.
Right.
And that's where I think that sometimes not BrickLink sellers, but speculators that will buy up a set and Lego thinks, oh, people like this, but maybe people are just building up the demand artificially.
Well, and there's also plenty of BrickLink people who will just part out the larger sets too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've done that several times, Jabbo, where you just bought the big sets and it's a quick boost in part count and inventory.
Yeah, I say I'm going to part it out and then go back and buy it again, and I never do.
Yeah, I was just saying that was the Eiffel Tower, and then what was it? The UCS
the Coliseum.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah,
all the soccer stadiums. Those were easy part outs. And
did you get a Millennium Falcon somewhere? Do the same thing?
Yeah, I parted out the Millennium Falcon, but I did buy it.
Did you go back and get that one?
Did you buy another one?
Yeah.
Did you ever think about parting out those large sets and keeping the figures and selling the parts, or no?
I'm thinking I probably should have held on to the figures at a higher price because I think I sold most of all the figures from the Millennium Falcon. And the crazy thing, the last 10 years or so of Star Wars, it's just crazy what the figures are going for. And it's like, now I'm thinking, okay, don't sell them right away. Just sell the pieces. Hold on to the figures. Wait and see in case one of them has this crazy demand. And because there are so many 3-figure figures now, $100.
$100 figures, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite shocking.
Well, are you familiar with Whatnot, James?
The selling, it's a selling platform.
That is what is blowing up the price of figures.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It is blowing up. And you talk about artificial demand. Like a Rex, Captain Rex goes for $100 all day long. But
people are buying stuff to sell on Whatnot, and they're selling it for way more than it will sell for on eBay and BrickTrains.
I know. It's like CMFs. The CMFs amaze me. I mean, you couldn't give CMFs away other than 1 or 2 out of each series.
Right, yeah.
They'll do blind bags and pay like $12 or $15 for a blind bag, and it's like you can go on BrickLink and buy the whole set at $4 or $5 a fig. Why would you pay $15 for a blind bag? But they do it.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
check it out for a selling purpose.
Inexperienced teenage audience.
Yeah,
it's exactly.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I remember buying Star Wars clones on eBay because I didn't have a profile on BrickLink, and I didn't really know about it. And when I found out about BrickLink, it's a game changer. Where I think a lot of people can easily create an eBay account and then find what they want. Where if people don't know necessarily about BrickLink or how to use it, then it's that's why. Okay, so interesting. I didn't know that about Whatnot.
Well, I think that's Whatnot is a social media thing, right? So because of the way it works, it's all based around you getting your viewers in there and propping it up on other social media. And so I think you're getting those. I don't want to. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Just uneducated people, and I mean that from a standpoint they don't know that BrickLink exists, or they may not even realize you could do it on eBay. eBay's still more expensive than BrickLink, but
But I still say the common person or the common parent or the common kid doesn't know what BrickLink is. You go to a Lego.
Correct.
I've only been to a couple Lego shows, and they have all the figs and everything, and it's just like. I told a lady one time, I'm like, don't pay $10 for that. Go to this website called BrickLink, and you can get it for $4.
Right.
She's like, really? I said, yes. BrickLink.com. That's it.
Yep.
Because it's ridiculous. But nobody knows. I mean, not as many people know about it as you think.
Yeah, and I think even when you're searching on Google, if you type in, a Star Wars set or something, it's probably 2-3 pages later until you find BrickLink as a website, and therefore people are clicking on those top links first.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. Trying to search for it on Google for sale. Yeah, I don't think BrickLink, because it's going to be dominated by Amazon and Walmart. Because Amazon and Walmart, you can buy vintage sets there.
I know. Walmart drives me crazy with that.
Yeah.
Well, Amazon does me too. So
I saw one big YouTuber, he was talking about how people are selling knockoff versions of his merch on Walmart. So when you search for his merch, the Walmart listing comes up first, not his, and it's counterfeit stuff. Yeah, that you can
'Cause
sell on.
You can pay for your links to. I don't know how it works. I've never done it, but I believe you can pay to have a link show up first on Google or boost it in a way.
Well, you can have your eBay. I mean, eBay tries to get you to buy your
every time you list something.
Yeah, that just on eBay, but I'm sure some of those eBay listings pop up higher in Google searches too.
Okay.
Oh, I would imagine that. Yeah, Google's, or eBay's pushing those to Google hard. So, especially.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so has everybody got their submissions in for the BrickLink designer?
I'm a crack
I don't
designer
yet.
here.
Well, you got let's see. As this airs, you only got a few days. So,
I'm so done with the BrickLink designer program.
well, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about overpriced sets? I was, some
With
of
no
those
instructions.
True.
but I get they're still holding up. Well, are they? They still hold up on the secondary market as far as being expensive to buy. I don't know how many of them are actually selling. I haven't looked that up. But
I know when they were selling when they first started hitting like shipping, they were flipping them on eBay, because you could click on the recently sold, and I mean that's what most people were doing, was buying them and reselling them as soon as they got them.
This is the negative thing for me as somebody who's been here all along. When the BrickLink designer program started, it's like nobody was flipping them. Nobody was buying them to flip, which, and again, I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that there was the demand.
Nobody knew about the first
because
one.
nobody knew about it. Yeah. So it's like,
It was for the people
if you
that
wanted a
wanted
set, you got it.
Yep.
right.
And then now, if you're at work and you're actually working and they make the thing go live, 5 minutes later, it's too late.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't have a shot.
Yeah, and anytime they do a medieval set, that's always very popular. And when they had their last crowdfunding, I did purchase the Studgate station, and then a couple minutes went by, and I was like, maybe I should pick up that medieval set, and I looked, and it just said sold out.
Yeah,
sold out.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are going to flip that.
I didn't think the Studgate would sell out that quick.
Me
and
neither.
it's like, there's a train set I'm not going to be able to get.
I hope it comes, because the last BrickLink designer program, I purchased something, and then something with my credit card had gone wrong when they went to bill me.
Your credit card, your
year and a half later.
Yeah. Well, they fixed that this last go around. They gave you a chance to I guess purchase it at the time that it was available versus holding your card, and a year later, there's a problem with your card because either your expiration date or your card's been on file for so long.
Well, the PayPal one was the same way, because that's what got me. It timed out, which PayPal's going to, but they wouldn't resend it through or whatever.
But I think the last, I didn't get any of the last one, but the second one,
any of them.
I think you got an email that said contact Lego.
Yes.
You'd call them. Yeah, so you'll be all right. Problem is you have to wait a year and a half before you know it. Yeah.
Very nice when it comes.
That is just it's just poor. It's just poor way of doing business to make you have to, because almost everybody was going to have to call customer service to get their credit card, because they had no way of automatically doing it unless they fixed it this time. But I didn't even try.
So James, how did you get your Santa Fe train?
I picked that up honestly right before I started the YouTube channel. I had a nice tax return, and pretty much there was somebody on eBay or Mercari actually selling it, and it was a complete collection with both the limited edition and regular Super Chief, and then it had the 5 cars.
What number did you get? The limited.
Oh,
limited
number?
edition.
Actually, where's the? Let me. I could check.
It's probably running
It's
around the wall.
8-4. Yeah, I
Is
can
it on
actually-
the ceiling?
It is on the ceiling. It's right above me here. If you can see,
I can see the station. Yeah. Look
in
at me
the-
lean down like I'm trying to look.
I
up.
will.
You don't have to get it.
It's
I'll
fine.
get.
Yeah.
It's. I know it's like it starts with an 8. It's in the 8.
Yeah, everything starts with an A and then it's 4-digit number.
Or eight.
8.
Eight. Oh, eight.
Ocho.
8.
It
Eight.
starts
So
with
you got a
8.
high number.
Yep.
So
How about yourself?
How many of those were there?
10,000.
10,000.
What number do you have? Do you know?
I don't know.
No,
It's
I
sealed.
forgot.
Maybe the sealed one. I saw a video many years ago where somebody was talking about the rarest Lego piece. I don't know who made the video, but they said that it might. I don't. Was it
Might have
you?
been me.
It might have been you, and you said the rare. That's why you're asking. It was definitely you. Now that I think about it.
It's the only piece that'll have that number on it.
Yep,
Mhm.
and it was definitely you because I used to always see your videos when I was younger.
Oh, my
brothers and I
goodness.
ever looked at if we ever looked at certain Lego content, you would definitely be one of the top 3 guys that would have the nice videos.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. It was
I
definitely
get
you
in
that made that
arguments
video.
with people about rarity. I'm like, you can't be there. There can be nothing more rare than there only one exists.
Yep.
That's the
Agreed.
rarest you can be. You can't have anything more rare.
Nope.
So
One of one.
people would get in arguments over things. I'm like, okay, you're talking about value.
Right.
Correct.
You're
Yeah,
not talking about
everybody wants,
rarity.
especially, and it's usually people that don't collect Lego that when they talk
Yeah.
about rarity, they're mainly looking for cost versus uniqueness.
And
Yeah,
you're
because
talking
there's
about
also the
demand.
little tiles that have like game codes on them that are unique.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But that Santa Fe, so the reason I mentioned it is because that was limited edition, but it was 10,000. But
Yep.
you could buy 5 of them. I bought 5 when they
Okay.
first released it. And it was like it was still available in the catalog for a while before they
Interesting.
came out with the regular
Right.
edition. And then somebody made this website and they wanted people to you could go on there and you could submit your number. They were trying to do a list of all, and that I don't know what happened to that.
Yeah, I tried to find that website because I remembered, yes, the video you mentioned that, and when I picked mine up, I tried finding that website because, if I have the tile somebody else wants, we could trade. But they probably want the lower numbers versus
Yeah, the low
some of
numbers
8,000s.
and I cannot find the references, but there was the low numbers, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They actually made a diorama.
Lego did, right?
Yes, Lego
Yeah.
did. And I think those were like giveaways that they did.
I was thinking, that there was something they did with the first, whatever it was, first handful or something. Yeah.
I can't find pictures of those right now.
Well, I mean, you've been around since the start of the internet, Jabbo. So. Called ARPANET back then.
World Wide Web.
Yeah, before Al Gore invented it.
That's right.
Yeah.
We helped put some of the first wires in.
The old dial-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can
yes,
say that because we're the same age. So
I've probably told the story, but yes, in 1981, I had a dial-up modem. So yeah, it's been a while.
I had a 300 baud modem too. That noise, my daughter has no idea what that noise is.
We used to have
Somebody picks up the phone in the other room. They miss you.
we used to have an order machine, and every order we would have to dial, call and then hold the phone to the machine and let the machine do the tones to send an order. Pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I got on here one of our other guests in the past, Brian from Battery Power Bricks. I think that's right. He mentioned, and I'm just throwing this out here because I love to stir the pot on this one, but he called the newer macaroni which one is it? It's the
one that actually looks like a macaroni.
Yeah. But us, we called, which is the 3063, that the macaroni, and we've called that for years. We've called that macaroni. But I don't know when BrickLink changed, but now they got the newer one they call it elbow macaroni, and the other one's just called macaroni. So they. But I told Brian he lost his A.F.o.O.L cred for calling that piece of macaroni and not the other.
No. So
he knows I was kidding.
When you're since all of us do BrickLink, you're sitting there. So do you like sometimes have your own name for parts? Still, like what is it? And then you're trying to find it on BrickLink.
Yeah,
I'm horrible at that. When I'm looking in my store to put something away, like a piece falls on the floor, I usually just search it by color because I am horrible at that.
That's the easiest way for me, unless it's a common color like bluish gray or white or black.
Well, and the little headlight brick, the older, that I think that's what they call it, BrickLink's headlight, but I always call it a washing machine because it looks like a little machine. But that's that was me from way long time ago before. So
that's one of the few I do know.
Headlight
building versus BrickLink, it's a whole different game because everybody has all sorts of random names for parts.
Yeah. Do you ever watch the videos where they'll have the actual Lego creators, whether they work at the theme park or whatever? They don't call any of the pieces by their Lego name or their BrickLink name.
Correct. Right.
They'll just show a piece and say, I don't know what you call this little doodad, but it's got a hinge in it, and it's great for this.
Yep. Yeah, that's always amazed me too, because you'd think they would be the only people that would actually say, "Yeah, here is a hinge piece with 9 teeth or whatever."
Right.
But
I'm going to add a lot of blank spaces.
Do you part out new sets? I always see you searching through and putting older sets together to part out in your store. Do you do new sets too?
I rarely do new sets. I'll do them here and there. I mean, I picked up the stadium sets to try it, and I'm trying to see if I can part things out faster, but I don't have a large inventory or like floor space to have all the bins for parting out new sets, and that's primarily why I stay away from it. Ideally, if I had a warehouse where I could just have aisles, then I could part out more. But no, I don't part out too many new sets, only a few here and there. The stadiums, that was just kind of a fluke, and I did that to see how fast I can do it and to boost the inventory and see where it goes. But I typically always try and sort old lots, clean parts, and then piece sets back together in bags, and then pick up the other parts on BrickLink. I find it was, especially even through college, it was easier to sell sets because I can keep a box of sets on hand, or even a couple bins with figures, and manage selling those orders versus selling parts. And that's why I typically like sticking to the sets. Plus, when you go to mail it, if you have an order come in, you can quickly bag up multiple orders, put labels on them, and mail them out, which I think is pretty nice.
Yeah. And if you're selling used sets and that don't have the box, do you do a lot of that, or is it a lot of times it sits with the box?
Could you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
When you're selling sets, are you selling? You said you're piecing together some sets or making sure they're complete. So are these going to be sets that sometimes have a box, the original box, and sometimes don't?
It depends on the lot that I pick up. If I, get fortunate where I purchase a bulk lot and there is a few boxes in there or the instructions, I'll gladly sell them with the set. Most of the times, though, it's typically the set with all the parts, figures, and stickered parts. I find those sets still sell pretty well, but at lower prices. When I do come across the boxes, it's nicer because you can list something for more. However, packaging it, you have to have boxes for it, and it's not as easy. It's more variable. And
there's trade-offs with everything, I guess, because that's why I like selling pieces instead of sets.
Right.
The packaging is easier, but again, it's more time consuming to put it away and pick it. But
there is greater margins, I find, on parts, though, where, and you could look at any Lego set on BrickLink, and 9 out of 10 times the part out value will be higher, even if it's used. And, your margins are greater, but you then have you're touching the bricks to put them away, and then you're touching them again when you're packing the order. And I like how when you did your part out video, you said, you only like to touch the bricks once. And I agree that is in a way the most efficient.
But if you're a used part, I thought about it from your perspective, because if you're separating used parts, that's a lot different because you don't necessarily know what's in it. So it might be better to separate multiple times, like you separate into categories, categories, and then individual pieces. Whereas a new set, I know what's in it.
Correct. So you can quickly, right. Parting out used is much more time consuming and difficult. And the few reasons for that are, yes, is everything there? You're unsure. And then you're only parting out one set versus, 2 or 5 or 10 of a set. But used parts, I find, I recently started doing that where I've had many sets that I've held on to for years where, it just doesn't make it doesn't make sense financially to purchase those parts to sell the set. But then I find, okay, if I at least part it out, I can list some unique parts. And I find that having old or used parts from any year combined with, a bunch of new inventory parts from parted out sets, that does help with orders because people, they want a few used parts, but then they also want a bunch of new parts. And
see, that's where you start to get me as a customer. I am not a customer usually of my own store.
Okay.
I would, unless I'm piecing together something that's modern. Like when I did the Ninjago City Gardens, I pieced that together. I took parts from my store to do that. But it's like I'm always looking for vintage older sets to complete. So I'm looking for the people that have those few random vintage parts or stickered parts, printed elements. Whereas like mock builders, they're just looking for new pieces in a particular color or something.
Yeah, I just got a big order, 1,000-something pieces, and it was almost all white. And I'm sure they're building some kind of mock. Yeah, it's but yeah, I'm like you. It's having those used pieces for the unique items. There's always going to be people like us that are going to be hunting that down. So
and when I started the store, I was only selling used parts, and my thought concept, again, I learned so much through the years of having a store and just also being young and not knowing everything about the Lego game, where I had always just thought in my head, okay, well, I'll list these parts, that way somebody else can complete this set, and then through time you realize, okay, people want, massive quantities of parts for mocks, and they want them, within the week, not, a month from now if you order from Lego.
Right.
And
you kind of got to cater to both, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you have to. I don't put any used part. I've had used parts in my store, but I very seldom. The only time you'll see a lot of used parts in my store is if I've pulled a drawer because I'm building something, and I take the drawer. I don't know how many pieces I need, and I take the drawer and I go and I build whatever, and then keep track of what I took out of it, and then I put it back. Just because I've taken that drawer out and I've handled it, I go ahead and mark those used.
So I think about this sometimes with the new parts that I have in my store. I have stuff I parted out like 20 years ago now.
Okay.
That there might still be some of those parts in my store, and I'm like, at some point, if the original parts from that, like say, let's take something common like a 1x2 plate in black. If I parted out a set in 2002 that had 1x2 black plates, and I kept replenishing that lot by putting more in it, but they never actually sold out the lot.
Right.
There's a chance that there's going to be a piece that's in there that's 20 years old.
Yes.
Interesting.
And the first time that became a problem was with the brittle parts. So I had brand new parts from sets that somebody bought, and then they like, hey, these came broken. I've had the ladders, the steps, that those have broken, and the blue, plates and stuff. So sometimes I think about that when I got stuff that's been in my store a long time. I was like, do I need to just change this to used at some point?
Yeah. Well, if you're constantly adding to them, I parted out. So before the pandemic, we used to go to a lot of train shows, and we would take Lego sets and stuff, and we'd sell. Me and my wife, we would sell them there. We ran a small Lego set or layout. Yeah, well, we had a booth and we had the layout too. And at any rate, I had some Winter Village sets that I wanted to get. I just wanted to get, and they all had shelfware because they got carried in boxes and taken to shows a couple, 3 times, and I didn't think they were good enough to part out as a set or sell as a set, so I parted them out. But some of the colors, especially like the trans reds and of course pearl gold.
Oh,
but the trans reds were different color. They were just a slightly bit darker, but they're clearly trans red. So yeah, now I've got 20 trans reds that are one color and whatever was in the drawer in the other color, and it's like,
yeah. So with the pearl gold, I took out. So I had the pearl gold 1x1 round plates, and the newer ones look better. And it's like I need to go through this whole bin and take the older ones out.
The older ones are darker.
Yeah, so I took one of the dark ones, and I had another pearl gold piece. It's kind of one of those weird slope pieces. It's kind of a rounded 2x2 slope, and I stuck the pearl gold stud on top of it. And I have both versions of those that are more modern, and they look totally different. Right?
Yeah.
Even though they're still both pearl gold, allegedly. But my stud on the old one, the dark one, it shattered.
Really?
I went to it later. It must have just popped off because it was like,
wow.
It didn't break when I put it on. It broke later.
Wow, interesting.
So that's another brittle color, apparently pearl gold.
Yeah, it's always frustrating when parts break because I was even working with some reddish brown parts today, and 2 of those headlight washing machine pieces broke on me, and I'm just like, come on, Or I see the bin I'm the same way, just like you, where you have the bin of broken pieces because I don't throw mine away. Yeah, I figure if I have a city build someday, maybe I could incorporate all the broken parts into a freight train yard or something.
Yeah. So I've seen that with the pin lug layout.
Yes,
Snail Lady had she has it's
a recycling center.
Yeah, that's where she puts the broken elements. Yeah.
So do you? Okay, I know that I accept BrickLink orders from new users, new BrickLink people. Do you sell or do you sell to new
you
ones?
get a lot of people with zero feedback. What
I do, yeah. But you end up being tech support for BrickLink.
Yes.
Do you run into that a lot?
Lately it's been. I accept orders from anybody and everybody, and I think that's the best option if you're trying to, sell and make money. But it is frustrating when somebody places an order and doesn't pay. I haven't had as much trouble with it now that they have the pay feature directly enabled, where when I did start my store many years ago, I had a lot of issues. It's typically for me with international customers that purchase something where I've bought things internationally and shipping actually doesn't cost that much for us. Sometimes sending it to the US, but when I'm trying to mail something to, Australia or even just the United Kingdom or Ireland, a lot of those start directly, it's at $28.50 just to mail something that's 4 to 6 ounces. And that's typically when I have, an order that's canceled where somebody purchases a set and then I send over the shipping, or they just want a few parts. But and a lot of them, though, it is what it is. They'll send an invoice, but I don't ever really leave anybody negative feedback. I don't think I actually ever have, even though it's frustrating when they don't purchase something.
Right.
It's just cancel the order and put it back on the shelf.
Yeah, if somebody wants to cancel, as long as they tell me,
exactly.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Just
it sits there for a while, that it's annoying.
I had a person that ordered just recently. They had ordered, and it was a pretty decent order, and I don't know why, but I got instant checkout the whole 9, and everything was. I've gone through my store. Nothing should trip it up to keep it from doing the instant checkout. But they requested for an invoice, and it automatically put the shipping in the invoice. So everything was there. I pushed the invoice, and we were 2 days trying to figure out how this person was going to hit the pay button. They could not find the pay now button. I finally told her, I said, I'm just going to cancel the order, and you just go ahead and put the order back in, and don't send me an invoice. Just hit pay now.
Gotcha.
I mean, all the information. I felt bad because I was trying to be as nice as I could, but at the same time, I'm like,
It's probably a child.
Using the
well, and it could have been. I said a she because it could have been a mom's account that the kid is using. Yeah, and I have no idea that And again, it was another one of these that had less than 20 as the feedback. So they've got no.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is, but every week it seems like I get several buyers that have 0 feedback, which can either be this their first order or that nobody's left them feedback yet. And it's like, I've been doing that for years, and I've rarely had a problem. Now, I have had a few that were slow to pay in the past, but yeah, having the instant checkout does eliminate a lot of that.
Yeah.
I actually have more. I had some of my slowest payers are actually some regular customers. There's one guy. It's like he's placed like 20 orders in my store, and for some reason he always manages to find something that doesn't have a volume. So checkout doesn't work.
Yeah.
I was like, how does he always do this?
He's going through your store looking for it.
Yeah. He's like, perfect.
He's
That'll
that
be
customer. He's that customer that tries to find all the problems.
I don't know why I have it. It's in here, and I don't remember putting it in here, so I don't know if one of you guys did or not. But I got tracking numbers in BrickLink.
I learned that from James.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thanks.
I was
good.
like, why didn't I do this before? But that's where I usually put notes. It swapped where notes is. It put the tracking number, and you can copy and paste the tracking number, and they can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're talking about where you did a thing where you customize that view in your orders to add that tracking number. I didn't realize. I don't know when I turned that on, but it's been on mine for I don't know, for a long time.
Well, is it correct though that many years ago everything was through PayPal, and when somebody paid,
they would get
there?
if you paid with PayPal, you got the tracking number, but when they separated to ShipStation, they don't get it.
Yep. I like that ShipStation allows you to see, UPS, DHL, USPS. But other than that, it's frustrating because even when sending out a first class package, I have to type in the dimensions every time, where I'd rather just
have a preset.
Type in the dimensions, and then it spins, and then the address confirmed, and it spins. You select first class to print, and it spins.
I have I set up presets, so I have like 2 different bubble mailer sizes that I usually, and I just got those, and I have them like it. And you could change the weight, but I have like 2, 4, 6, and 8 on the small bubble mailer, and then like 8, 10, and 12 on the big one. But if it's like 11, you can change the weight, and it doesn't speed it up because it still spins, and it seems like it's so many clicks.
And it's not your internet. It's not your internet connection. It's the website.
Yeah,
and that's after it spins to get to ShipStation.
Yeah, I had enough. The reason I made that video is because I had enough customers reaching out and saying, "Hey, do you have my tracking?" And I honestly thought they could view it on PayPal. And then after sending, multiple customers their tracking for the past few months, that's when I just realized, I looked it up to figure out how can I just quickly add this, and it works. It's one more step, but doing it's better.
The one thing is, I have my wife helps me, so she can pick orders when I'm at my job. So that helps. That's a big help. It's like having an employee that you're not paying.
Yeah.
Joey lost his.
Joey
had one of those.
I used to pay my little brother to pack my orders.
But she helps me because it's getting stuff out of the house. She got stuff getting out of the house. But I can be at work on my phone, and if somebody asks for the tracking, I can just go right on there, copy it, and then put it either in a message or whatever to them. But I probably should do like you do and just do it on every order.
I'm trying to make it a habit.
But for a $20 order, I'm usually like, if they ask for it, I'll send it.
Yeah, that's
But
how I
like
am.
that guy that from Hawaii, that his order was so big it had to go in 4 boxes.
Oh wow.
Because it was cheaper.
Right.
Because now if I could have used like UPS ground or something, it might have been cheaper. But I sent him the tracking on all 4 of them. He didn't ask. I mean, I just sent it to him because anytime I'm dealing with something that's more valuable,
Yep.
you want to show that your due diligence, that you're going to make sure it gets to them.
Right, and then that you don't lose the tracking numbers or have to search them all up again.
Yeah.
So we've all made mistakes. Have you had? Do you have any mistake stories?
Yes.
If you don't want to throw them out there, it's okay. But
Let me. Well, I've had lost packages. I'm sure everybody said that. I've had one package that was on its way to China that was stolen. But as far as mistakes goes, I have done just about anything and everything. I've missed parts and orders where then I'm
that's
either
common.
resending parts or paying them. Now I find throughout the years of experience of doing this, I find I am much better. But there's still errors here and there.
Yeah.
And the worst error I've probably made was I think I swapped 2 packages.
Oh,
That's what I was going to ask you.
I would rather them be short parts than I send it to somebody else.
Yep. And that was probably my worst, but thankfully they were smaller orders.
Yeah.
And I think they both sent me them back, or I sent them labels to send to one another. Because somebody actually did that to me once, where they sent me a huge Lego order. Then I was like, hey, this isn't mine. And then, they said, oh, can you please mail it back to me? And I just told them, that I mail things out too. Just give me the other person's address and I'll save you then 2 labels.
That's what's happened to me too. When I've sent to the wrong person, they say, just tell me where to send it. And then I send them the money. But that's why I like the hardness of BrickLink, like for the average person, because you're usually dealing with people like us.
Exactly.
Yeah, we understand, when people make mistakes.
Other than that, though, I've also done the error where, their order, I've packed it and it has 3 bags of parts and I drop one on the ground and then mail out 2. And the one time when it happened, the customer was new to BrickLink and they reach out and they're angry and they're like, these parts aren't here, like you gypped me. And I was like, please wait, like I'll find them. And then I told them, I said, I sent them even a picture because I found the bag next to my printer or wherever it was. And I was like, yeah, I have it here. I'll send it to you. And then they were still mad at me for something. I said, no, like I'll send it, like no extra charge. Just please don't leave negative feedback. It's coming your way. And then they were understanding, but again, as a new customer on BrickLink, they probably had doubts as is.
Mm-hmm.
Other than those, though, nothing else major. And lately, nothing bad or no errors within the past probably 6 months.
I had 2 yesterday. I had 2 people emailed me within minutes of each other. One was missing a stormtrooper.
Okay.
Ooh.
And one was missing a single piece. And I go to those drawers and there's the extra stormtrooper. And I go to the drawer with the piece and there's the extra piece. And I'm like, how did I miss it? Because there were ones I picked. I said, well, I guess my wife picked and they would have been in the order.
Do you guys print invoices and then check them off, or do you check them off?
I check them off on my phone or tablet.
I use my iPad. And Jabos, if you don't know, you can scroll all the way to the bottom and it says
temporary
checkbox.
Yep. Yeah, I like those. That's what I use.
Print them. Yeah. I used to print, but I was going through so much paper.
Yep.
Yeah. And ink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always amazed when I'd order something and somebody would send me the order with a printed invoice in color. Because I would always be like, oh, it's so much to print with colored ink. But it looked nice, though, to see the invoice with all the parts.
I've not had anybody complain because yet. I'm sure it could happen in the future, but I've been doing this for years. I mean, I used to put it in the printed invoice that I picked with. I used to put it in with the order, and I learned that's one of the things I learned from YouTube. When you make BrickLink videos on YouTube, then you get other BrickLink sellers saying, "No, I don't do that." And
yeah,
but I've never had anybody say, well, I didn't get an invoice. They just tell me if they're missing a part.
Right.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, to me, they can.
I figure you should know what you ordered.
Right. You could just check your orders. And that's how I check off what I've purchased. You know, you look at the order again.
I have a bad habit of not checking off what I purchased. I'll be building like when I'm building something, I'll buy parts. And then when I go to build it, I'll be short a couple parts. And it's like, did I short myself or did they short me?
Yeah.
It's like, well, and I don't even question it. I just go look for it and order it again.
We all know the 99% complete set that you bought and you waited 2 years to build it.
Yeah, Joey just built one of those.
Yeah. It was more like 95% complete. Figure and everything.
It was more like 80% complete.
Yeah.
But it was listed as 99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, James.
That just happened to me actually on Christmas when I was building the holiday train from 2006. And I was missing like 15 parts. I'm like, wow, I did like a terrible job parting this out. And then I realized that because I put in the motor for the 9V, it takes out a bunch of parts from the set.
Yeah.
But yet when I was building it, I kept running out to my room, getting the parts. And then right at the very end, when I went to put the motor on, that's when I realized, this is not here.
That's like the Maersk train. You pull the motor out of the Maersk, however you say it, to put the motor in.
Yep.
And it's like, what do I do with these pieces now?
So are you having the problem with the wires for your 9-volt stuff?
Any ones I acquire usually from somebody else are dry rotting and just deteriorating. I'll sometimes use electrical tape, but I do have a few of them that are actually all right. I find some of them on the train are actually okay. It's usually the wire from the alternator to the track. Usually it's quite beat up and deteriorating.
Yeah.
But it's still, in my eyes, you can even strip it and then use electrical tape and fix it, and it'll still work as long as your wires aren't
touching.
Yes.
Battery powered bricks, Brian. He's got a couple videos on that, and
he found the wire that's close to the original, so you can actually replace it from the end to the end, and it looks almost identical.
Yeah, he's pretty technical with that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to talk about YouTube since we've spent the last hour talking about BrickLink.
Oh, sorry.
We always do that.
We always do it.
We need to try to find something for Jabbo to buy today, since it's okay.
Oh.
I'm always looking for tipper trucks.
Yes.
Speaking of things to buy, the gift with purchase, that moving van.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking forward to actually picking that one up.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be did I see it's going to be a $200 gift with purchase?
Either that or 180.
180. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it's
bad enough.
But it's something. It's something around there.
I hope it's something. They're stacking purchases too.
There isn't.
Well, there's not.
I just saw a video because, just a video that came up on my feed where somebody showed the calendar and the 3 promotions don't stack. They have the one that's currently out, then that's going to end, and the truck starts, and then after the truck there is a city promotion, I believe, I want to say an ambulance or something.
The 4-wheel drive ambulance. Yeah.
Okay. So they're not stackable. I was kind of bummed when I heard that because at that rate, I'll just get the delivery truck, and
that's the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll get the Jazz Club to get the delivery truck.
Yeah.
Well, it's got the delivery, moving van.
Yeah, that's kind of the purpose of it. It's supposed to go with the Jazz Club.
It is, yeah. Well, I'll end up having to buy something, $180 worth of something.
Yep. Lego knows they'll get our money.
Yeah. So me and Jabbo have been doing memberships. How do you think memberships been going, Jabbo? Are you able to do memberships?
I feel like my members are being ripped off.
Well,
don't say that. You're not supposed to say that.
Loses everybody overnight.
I wanted to be did Joey just glitch, or was that me?
He's good.
I'm good. I think I raised my hands. I did something silly, so it probably
It's
Probably
that other
glitched.
camera. It's that other
Yeah.
camera angle.
It's one of those things where I put unnecessary pressure on myself by
Yeah.
doing memberships,
And
and
you
I
feel
want to make
guilty.
sure that, yeah. But the one thing that I try to always do is I post a video. It's going to be a half a day to a day, members only. That way, the members can watch it with no ads.
Right.
That's the main thing. And then I do make occasional videos that are only for members at different levels. And the thing that's been hard for me is doing a live stream. I
That's
have
your
that
czar level too.
Yeah, the czar level. I'm supposed to do a live stream, and it's like I do them, but then there'll be like I don't know when to do them, and then there'll be like one person on there, and I said, well, I guess I'll just leave it, for them to see. But it's like, what's the fun in that? I'm not. I feel like I'm giving them a worse product.
I was gonna say, because I just the other day, I found that one video from I don't know however long ago, but at any rate, I clicked over to the members tab, and I had seen you had in there 2 or 3 videos that were members only, apparently, because I never saw them. And I know it's not
They don't.
YouTube doesn't
do a good
surface them
job
right.
of notifying members. There's no
Right.
way. You just got to.
Well, it used to. They never notified you. You had to do a community post for members only, and then I think you have to have that turned on to receive them. So I don't know. And these were both like 6 months ago videos. They were older.
Oh, you found some real old one. Okay.
In fact, I even kind of thought, well, was I even a member then? I thought, well, I've been a member pretty much since the first day you turned it on.
Yeah.
Of course, you turned it on in secret, so it was like a week before you let people know. Which I can't say anything.
The thing that encourages me though is like when I post my videos early, I'm glad when I see that it's got 20 views before I make it public, because that means some of the members are looking at it and they're commenting.
Right.
And that's what I want. That eliminates all the first comments except for the members that post first.
And you have
one of the icons
emoji.
People can get emoji that people can pick.
Sorry, I had to do it.
I wish. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I wish I had. It seems like the older I get, the less time I have to dedicate to all these different passions I have.
Well, my thing is, if I do a members okay, so you do yours, you release them ahead of time, and maybe that's what I should do for the 4 people. But if I make a members only video, I've put time and effort in it. I think I want everybody to see it, not, I don't know. I don't know.
It is a dilemma. I don't know. You feel like the members deserve something better, but if you do something better, you want everybody to see
it. Right.
And then you feel like I just did this crappy video, and I'm.
Well, and that's kind of what you
donating money to me. Are the ones I'm showing it to.
Right, and that's kind of what YouTube tells you to do. Don't do anything that's as elaborate, or just do something, whatever. Not
I thought
as
maybe
good.
Doing something where I talk to them and ask them questions or ask them to ask me questions, or
right.
I don't know.
Maybe
well, you did the one I watched was a pretty good video. I was like, wow, this is right up there with regular BrickTsar video.
Maybe you could do some bets while you're driving.
I've thought about that.
You could drive around and answer 5 questions,
but then I want to post it for everybody.
Well, you can after it's 30 days old or something like that.
Yeah. I think the early access to videos is the good way of doing it.
Yeah.
If you're doing memberships.
Gotcha.
Well, and I've. Do you have memberships on yours? Did you cross 1,000, James? Did you?
I just monetized now as of like a couple days ago.
Okay.
Which is pretty exciting. I don't have memberships up. I just have currently just videos for monetization.
Yeah. Well, the thing about getting monetized, obviously the thing about getting monetized is making money, but one of the things that always bothered me about it is YouTube would put ads on them anyway. and you weren't getting any of that
Yeah.
money.
Right.
And so at least now I could kind of control it. If I get a long enough video, I can, kill the first ad. That's something else I want to talk about too. But yeah, you can kind of control where the ads are a little better once you're monetized.
If
Okay.
you make a video less than 8 minutes, you don't have to worry about it.
Well,
Yeah, I saw that after 8 minutes is when you'd have multiple ads.
What happens is a lot of times we forget to check because it takes a while for the video to process, and then the automatic ads that YouTube, it's insane. Sometimes I've had people complain. I'm like, oh, there's 19 ads in a 15-minute video or something
wow.
stupid,
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
It's like
see,
a totally bad viewing experience.
well, that's one of the things. Like, so for the last 2 podcasts, I think it's the last 2, I've turned, and I had to wait. You guys had to teach me. I had to wait for it to process, and then once it processed, I turned off the beginning ad, and then I placed 2 ads. Like one was 30 minutes in, and then I placed another one like in the last 30 minutes. That's been the 2-hour videos. But I just in the mid, and I'd wait, and I found a dead spot, which where we kind of stopped talking. I was like, oh, that'd be a good place to put an ad, because YouTube's always telling you, if you watch their little YouTube Do Better channel things, that first 30 seconds of your video. Well, the first 30 seconds of all my videos is ads.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, eliminate the pre-roll ad or the ad, any ad that would drop for whatever reason early.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Especially with the podcast, I want to push them to the far into it as far as like. Well, I can tell you, after about 24 minutes, somebody's watching us anyway. So, except for the dedicated crew of people, it drops off after 24 minutes or 20. Yeah, about 24. The 2-hour ones are usually will go 35, 40 minutes.
Well, YouTube, if you have like YouTube Premium, it's nice because then you could just listen. And you could have your phone closed, which I find is nice for podcasts.
Yep.
I wish that YouTube TV and YouTube Premium were like the same product.
Same, yeah. That would be handy. But then they wouldn't be making as much money off of it.
Right.
But YouTube's been a good thing. I guess it's like with Lego. I can complain about a lot of things. I can complain about a lot of things with YouTube, but YouTube's been a great tool.
Right.
A great way to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I've learned a lot.
Great way to learn how to fix stuff.
Yep.
Or how to set your BrickLink store up.
Yep.
Or how to build a train track on your roof.
Yep.
Yeah, and I still got.
I want to
have a ceiling train, but I got to get a ceiling first.
I do want to make like one really nice video for the ceiling train with everything all in one, but I'll probably have to wait until closer to the summer where I can then go out and cut more lumber and put nice beveled edges on everything and paint it. I do want to paint the ceiling train. Do you guys think I should go with white for everything, or should I do, if this is a blue wall, should I do a yellow on this, and then on the red wall do green or blue, and mix them up that way? Because my Lego room is 4 different colors. It's the blue, red, yellow, and green.
Wow, that's
a tough question.
Pop quiz.
Maybe you could just make it match the wall that it's
Okay.
That it's attached to.
Gotcha.
And then the trim color is white in your room.
Yep. Yeah, like everything else is white.
Yeah,
ceiling's a flat white.
Yeah, I don't almost.
You have a small GoPro.
I do. Well, I have. What do you mean? What do you mean by small?
There's a little bitty one.
That's a session right there.
No, I don't have that. I have a Hero 6.
Yeah.
I should probably get one of those. I want to get. I do want to pick up a small camera for. Yep, yeah, something like that, and that works well on the train. I got
a GoPro mount stuck to one of those. What is that? A 6x6 tile.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That other one's the Dakota Cam, right?
No, this is actually the Dakota Cam.
Yeah, that's
yeah. This I usually use for the 360, which is over there. Well, the regular GoPros will fit on this too.
Yeah, people were mentioning I should pick up a 360 for the trains.
Those are kind of cool because you can do the 360 video where they can control what they're seeing. I got a couple of those videos up there.
Just remember, they can see what they see.
I know.
Yeah, no good camera angles.
Yeah.
No good. Yeah.
Stand in the room and make a funny face for people to spin the camera.
Well, I watched Dunkster Bricks, and you can see where he's trying to stay out of the shot. You know what he's doing, and I did the same thing. I tried to stay out of it. It's like it's hard to do when a camera's looking all directions. So
even the GoPro catches such a wide angle, and then with my train, I had it going up there, and I was probably sitting on a chair or something, and then I see the video footage, and I'm like, I see myself in the entire video.
What I do, especially when I put it on the smaller trains, I'll crop it out a little bit because I don't like when the camera's on the train. You really only need to see what's right around the train. So if it's got this big wide thing, I'll just crop it down.
Okay.
And edit.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, but
cuts out as much as I can.
Yeah, some of the newer ones, I don't know where it started. It's not like this one here, which is one of my first ones. It's super wide angle, right? But the 9 that I have, you can do a narrow, which gets a little bit closer to that 16:9, and then you could crop it down and make it even better. But yeah, GoPro's notorious for being really wide.
Yeah,
so, you get.
It's great when you're out in nature, like skiing or mountain.
They're perfect for outside.
Yep.
They're terrible for inside.
And so when you get your train track set up outside, I know you've done some of these. I want to see a really long one that's not a short.
My biggest video idea for the outdoor trains is, and we'll see if this video idea gets stolen, but it won't matter. When the weather's nice out, I actually have enough track to go around the entire house.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That it'll be hard to level it and adjust it, but and it might take me multiple days, so I really will need good weather.
Yeah.
But with plastic track, I mean, if it gets dirty or anything, you can wash it. It's just a matter of trying to set it up when it's not raining for 2 days and you can get some nice footage. But that'll be a full video, a full loop, and
I've been thinking about it for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It takes you 2-3 days to set up.
Yeah.
Takes you another 6 hours to film because the track will,
and you get a 3-minute video out of it.
And you get
when I started doing them outside, I was just amazed at, you look at grass or just the ground and you think, okay, that's relatively level, but the train just really wants to tip. And then I built a car that I actually put metal weights in it. That way, it's kind of like a boat where it won't fully tip, but it still does on certain turns or if anything's.
We set up one in the snow. Of course, we don't get snow here that much, but we have a little bit of a slope in our front yard, and we didn't do a motorized train. We just did it where it was like a roller coaster.
Gotcha.
So you had the additional problem of you can't go too fast on curves or it'll derail. Man, we were freezing. We spent so much time setting that track up, and I thought it was pretty long. It was pretty long.
Yep.
But yeah, the videos were not very good.
I did one in the snow a while back when we had a nice snowstorm here, and honestly, I found it was easier to set it up in the snow because you could just take snow and just throw it under. Yeah. And what I did is I have a long bin that I keep 6 straight pieces connected together at always. And that way, when I'm ready to go outside, I just lay down those 6 and then attach everything, and it goes pretty quick.
That's a good idea.
Still, it is. You're dedicating quite a few hours just to get it right and get some nice footage.
Yeah,
and I'm taking on the added challenge of I got a lot of blue track, which is even worse for doing it.
You probably don't want to use that outside.
Well, you've seen the blue track thing they did on that basketball
floor. Yeah.
That took them a bunch of people a long time to set that up.
Yeah.
Whew. And you're wanting to do it on a football field, right?
I want to, I don't want to do, they're zigzagged and it was however many miles long. I just want to straight. Yeah, I want to go around a football field or across a football field.
Yeah.
Cool.
With tipper trucks.
How many do you think do you know the exact number it would take based on their length or no?
I have enough tipper trucks. If you put them in the end, it will go across the entire length one way on a football field. So they're 3.4375 inches long or something like that, and then there's 120 yards in a football field. So that's 360 feet, and I got enough to cover 360 plus feet.
Wow.
That's
And I know I got enough track to go that far.
okay. Yeah.
Because so this is the irony, is the track that is the first Lego track is still by far the cheapest. The blue track that's why I buy blue track. And that's why they did that Guinness World Record, is because the blue track was cheaper and abundant.
So you're wanting to set up the tipper trucks in a row and use the
Train track to film it.
as a dolly track. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That'd be an awesome video.
Yeah.
Have you seen JK's new video
Oh no.
with
JK
dominoes?
Yeah.
Infinite domino.
That is pretty sick. He built it on a circle train track.
So I have another idea for dominoes. I want to do the train going along the dominoes.
Oh, try to pace it.
Yeah.
Falling.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That would be pretty cool. That's a lot of work. You need some flat surface for dominoes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then you'd probably have to set it up and build it a few times because the train go too fast and go too slow.
Yeah, you really have to calculate that and make sure it's perfect.
If it's worth the work.
Yeah.
But I think keep that dream and that goal to do that, because yes, it's an idea that other people could do.
Anybody could
I've
do
been
it,
planning on doing it for years, and I've not. And the reason is because it is something that's hard to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think it'll have a good payoff for you when you do it.
I hope so. Yeah, it was when I started putting them outside, it was just one of those goals. And unfortunately, by the time I had all the resources ready, now it's winter. And I'd rather wait until it's a little nicer out, that way I'm not miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I want to set it up and just leave it. Then I'm worried about the neighbor kids.
Yeah, or anything at that rate. Yep.
Yeah. I wonder how much it'll expand in the sun and overnight. If you do
Sorry.
no, yeah, I was just saying, if you did a connected track, I can imagine it would shrink.
It had crossed my mind, and yeah, it depending on how much sun's hitting it, definitely something would happen. It's just a matter of, is it actually going to break it, or
just bow it up and derail.
Yeah, like buckle it,
Melt it together.
Yeah.
It's there, permanently there. Well, everything's welded together. That'd be terrible.
Well, James, this has been good.
Oh, great! No, I really appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna
meet you guys.
Well, it's nice meeting you, and your channel is doing great. It's
thanks.
taking off.
Yep.
We'll get Mardigrasman man. Earl is gonna look up the
I'm
comments.
gonna look up some comments.
That always stirs up some conversations.
So your homework assignment, guys, if you're watching to the end to leave a comment, your homework assignment is to see how many videos LeggoMyJamesO has done in his shirt.
Ooh.
That's definitely a good.
So that was so when we discovered your channel, it's like it was in the time when I was wearing a different shirt every day, and you were wearing the same shirt. I was like, I'm not sure, but I think wearing the same shirt every day is actually harder.
Yes, it is difficult because you have to always either make sure it still looks nice and just make sure you always know where the shirt is, or at least have multiple. And then
I was thinking, like, when you were building stuff, it's like you don't want to necessarily maybe be wearing your shirt when you get the tools out and stuff.
Yep.
Definitely helps with continuity, though.
Yeah,
it does, and then you're recognizable, or people are like, "Oh, that's him,"
on brand,
which helps. Yeah. But and then for a little bit, I was like, maybe I'll switch to colored shirts, and so there's definitely a few videos out there. And then I think it was because of you, I then went back to sticking with the brick shirt always.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're not. We just like to say things just to be funny. You do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Oh no, I like the keeping the
Yeah.
brand.
Well, I
up
can
the-
tell you, James, you had a video that not only got one, but a rewatch and 2 comments from Jabbo. And we talked about it on, it might have been the last podcast.
It was the
so
last podcast. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Was it the train car video?
Yeah, the train car.
Yeah, my vision was, any train set with, track and a motor, because all of the my own trains with the locomotive and tender, you could call that 2 cars, and trigger some.
They didn't come with track and a
but
motor.
it wasn't track and a motor. And anytime they did, where it was, the blue locomotive as a freight train, it had multiple cars. But there was one set you had commented, and I would agree with that, where it's 2 train cars and then it's just your motor attached to, I forget, it's yellow and black train.
The yellow jacket.
Where from a distance it looks as if it is 3, but that's definitely arguable that it's 2. But I thought that'd be an interesting. When I realized, I was just genuinely shocked that a high-speed train was just 1 locomotive and 1 passenger.
It's almost
car.
like they cut off the picture. There should be another car.
Yes, exactly. For
should.
years, I thought there was more. I thought it was the typical locomotive and middle car, and either your back like a second locomotive or another train car.
So do you think the intentions of Lego, the last 2 passenger trains, it's been the front, the locomotive, and 2 passenger cars? Do you think the intentions are because if they give you both ends in a passenger car, you're less willing to buy a second one? Because if you buy one set, you feel like it's incomplete because it doesn't have the rear end on it.
I bought 2 of all of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Well, I
whether
had not the new one yet.
if it's their intention or whatever, it actually works better from a from our standpoint, because
I mean, this one
you
was
get more value out of it.
This one was 2. So if you bought 2, you got the front, the back, and you got 2 cars.
Yeah,
Right.
I do like their newer design with the 2 cars, because even if you bought 2 of any of the other trains, now you just have 2 cars that you're either going to part out or not use.
Right.
Where this time you can at least have 1 locomotive with your motor. You could have 4 cars then if you purchase 2, and then turn the rear one into a regular, regular one, and then now you have extra power functions, which I think could be nice. Or you could sell those and recoup some money. Or I've seen people sell them online where they'll sell the cars individually, and you could also purchase them that way. But I do like the newer design versus the old ones we've seen with your front and back as the same, with only the one middle.
Those you end up with too many locomotives.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can't really use those parts for much else. It's like an airplane type piece.
right.
Okay, so the Swedish Oak says, that's right what you say about the blind bags. It's so stupid. Not only that the seller might have felt the bags and excluded the valuable ones, other customers, if it's in a public store, have probably already felt the bags and taken the good ones, left are the trash for you to buy and hope to be lucky with.
Yep.
That's why the new box CMS coming is great. I hope they just don't have much different weight so the seller can weigh them and figure out what's in them. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to weight. It's going to be
There's a will, there's a way. Somebody will figure out a way to.
Yeah, I don't think you'll figure it out. It's sitting in the store, but if you was to buy a box, you could pull out. But the way they're doing it now is none of them are more rare than the other one. You're harder to get because if you buy a full box, you get 3 sets. There's 3 of every one. The demand for some of them are better than the demand for other ones.
Well, it's like the brown spaceman.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's already people getting offended that people are buying as many as they want. But it's like, why do people get mad?
Mm-hmm.
None for the kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Swoop the shelf.
Yep. Thorok videos. I just went and checked the most popular podcast episode, and it's almost at 10,000 views.
It's probably over 10 now, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
Just the general
know
BrickLink talk
why.
might be the reason why it is being watched so much.
I
run
hope
my
this
own.
episode is better. It's got
Yes.
James in it.
Yes. I run my own store just
Four
like
channels.
many who watch the podcast, and it's always nice hearing from other folks because there are 1,000 ways of working a BrickLink store.
Yep.
Yeah, we do that quite often, James. We start talking about BrickLink, and next thing you know, we've talked about BrickLink for 40 minutes.
Yep.
Every episode.
We're trying not to be a brick. I mean, I'm okay with being a BrickLink
Yeah.
podcast, but that's not what our intentions eventually were.
Bricking Out Loud says, execute order 66. Happy 66, fellas. This is a tremendous podcast, always fun and informative.
So
also-
are we looking for 67 because James was going to be on it? Or is that?
No, I kept saying 67 because it's a number that is, I guess it's dear to my heart because a certain person, it's her birthday. So you could figure it out if you want.
Yeah. We'll leave that alone.
So it's her birthday date. So it's just
We'll
the
always
number.
remember. Yeah.
It's the number, right?
There you go.
Yeah. It says in it is it's also a terrific soundtrack for building Lego. More power to you. So that's the intention. Whether you're driving or building, turn us on. Are we still on Spotify or Apple Play or something?
We're not on Apple, but that's a different story. But we're on Podbean, which puts us on a lot of the other podcasts, and we finally got 1,000 downloads total.
Cool.
You know, did I tell you I found out that my podcast that I uploaded, which my BrickTsar Intro Thingy podcast, that it's actually a video on Spotify.
Really?
They turned it into a video?
They turned it into a video.
Cool.
So you can upload. I thought it was just upload. You said, the option to upload.
Right.
What's that you use to get the Spotify? Anchor. Use the Anchor.
Okay.
And I thought they were just taking the audio and making but you go on there and it's the video. You can listen to it audio or see the video with it. So you could actually do that with all of the episodes.
There you go, Joey.
Well, you'll have to. Yeah. Are you paying for that or?
No, it's free.
And that's through Spotify or who's that through?
Yeah, it's on Spotify, but it's through Anchor.
And Spotify is kind of like if you listen to Spotify at your home on your Wi-Fi, it's free. You just have to listen to ads. If you take Spotify on the road, you have to use your data or whatever, and you could use ads. But if you pay for it, the premium, you get rid of the ads. You can listen to it offline.
We'll have to talk about that because, you'll have to show me how to do it because, I'm going through Podbean, and that means I'm paying for it. So, and the amount of people that are listening to it, and I'm sorry if you're listening to it, it's not paying back the amount that I'm paying out. Right. So.
Oh yeah, you don't need to be paying.
Yeah. So we'll figure that out.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You don't need to be paying for us either, I guess.
Yeah. That goes back to memberships, right?
Thorok videos, man, the part about the stack-ons really hurts. I'm based in France and I use the Stanley 39 drawer units. I used to buy them for 12 pounds each. Now, if I'm lucky, I can get them for 29. I made my own shelves, which work perfectly for these Stanley units, so I have no choice but to keep buying them. Just this past year, I've spent 2,200 pounds on these stupidly overpriced drawers. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So I'm amazed that somebody doesn't come out with a new one that is, like a $20 one. There's got to be a way to mass produce them for a lower price. Got to be a way. I mean, Joey, you're in plastics. Let's patent one.
But I don't make that kind of stuff.
And people that have made like Poppy Max, they went out of business.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
I think I put them out of business.
Yeah.
One bad video and
So if you don't know the story, James, they offered to swap out my entire BrickLink store with
Really?
PoppyMac containers. I said, just send me some first. They sent them to me. I didn't
Never.
like them, so I decided not. So I had the opportunity to get these for free.
And you didn't.
And I
Wow.
didn't-
Yeah. I purchased some drawers from Harbor Freight, and
Yeah,
you get what you
Yeah.
pay for. I mean,
Yeah.
the price was all right, but they're nothing compared to the stack.
They're
on
not,
there.
but you know what? That's what I got.
That's
That
all-
whole wall back there.
That's what, yeah.
And let me
I-
tell you, they're for the price of those versus the price of Acromills or
I would
what you
prefer to
can
have the
find.
Acro Mills, but yeah.
And the last batch, last batch of Acromills I bought are, I mean, it seems like the plastic's just as flimsy as those.
Yep.
They're just
Yeah,
a little
the
bit bigger drawer.
Quality is just a tad.
Yeah.
bit
10 years
down.
ago, 5 years, well, actually, probably like 5 years
These are the
ago,
best.
you could find
These right
These
here are the
containers.
best.
Yeah, those green ones.
These
I
are
got
the
4 of
best.
those.
You can still get these from True Value,
Is that it?
but
True
they're
Value?
like $30-something a piece.
Okay.
And I'd rather pay the 20 for those. Okay, Kai Lehman. For friction pins, actually there are 3, while BrickLink only separates the first 2. The first, used until '89, has an O slot and is a hell to remove. Oh, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Then they introduced a slot, and around 2019 they started to use a third one. He gives the part number. Again, without the slot and some anti-roll notch on the ring. Some inventories have parts listed that either weren't introduced for 10 years later, and others have parts that were usually phased out 10 years before. But then I constantly find 4085B, the clip, in light bluish gray, a mold that theoretically has retired 15 years before the color was even introduced. You know, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's similar parts. There are so many errors on BrickLink inventories.
So the last part out I
Yeah.
did, the last one I did was it was one of those Star Wars sets that came out of that 3-in-1.
Yep.
And I had one set plus I did 6 of them. When I did the part list, I had 5 of them. So each set came with 2 of these parts. It uploaded 5 of this one and 5 of this one. I didn't select anything. That was just the automatic upload. I had never seen that before. And both of them were identical. You read it, everything was identical. So I deleted one and made it 10 of the other. But I don't know if it was a glitch. I had never seen that before. It just separated them. There weren't even 2 versions listed. It would just listed the part twice.
It sounds like it listed the part in the extra.
Could have, but
it
it
could have. I
shouldn't
don't
have-
think
should've
so because it
compared-
wasn't at the bottom
Or
of the
alternate.
listing.
And
Yeah.
it had an alternate, but the alternate wasn't an alternate. It was the same.
Right.
Maybe.
What you're saying?
maybe.
Okay.
But it's not like it let me select which one I had. It had 5 of this one and 5 of that one. And I parted out 5 sets. So it was kind of like each set had 1 of each in it.
Huh.
It's crazy.
But it didn't. Yeah.
But it
which
didn't.
is- It's BrickLink glitch.
Let's see. Who's next?
I hate similar parts.
Cosmignana.
Yeah.
That episode is at almost 10,000. We need Lego to sponsor this podcast, period. Edit 14,000 on February 8th. The day we're recording it. And then they left Kai Lehman. He says, so that's another almost 3,000 views in under a week, and it's going for that peak. You need to talk about shoe boxes in a bigger drawer.
Oh, did I tell you we went back to there's the spike in the views?
Mm-hmm.
What
Right.
were we talking? What did I say we were talking about? I left a comment of what we were talking about, and it's like that made no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you see his comment? I don't.
No,
I
it's
was on
probably on
63.
that video. It's
Okay,
probably
hang
on
on.
that video.
Yeah.
You look it up while I read.
372 right now.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
have no idea.
Dad
Congrats.
bod, got my order in. These things are going to be the next red 2x4. These things are going to be the next red 2x10 plates.
I'm trying to
Did
figure
he
it
order
out.
the pamphlets? Did Dad bod order
he
the
ordered.
pamphlets?
So he ordered the signed pamphlet.
We were talking
many-
about drawers.
Yeah, I parted out 200 copies of the Final Duel 2 from 2002, and it had those Lego Club pamphlets in it.
How many more requests
I have
for autographs?
144 left,
Wow.
Have
There's
you
your
got any more
opportunity.
requests for autographs?
and people can get for 23 cents. You too can have a signed copy. I'll actually go get a silver pen. That's what somebody that commented said that a silver pen would work better.
Nobody else has requested the
No,
signed one
I've
yet?
had 2 requests.
That's 2 viewers.
Yeah.
That's 2 viewers that came and shopped your store. Gears and bricks. The execute order 66 are good soldiers follow orders to buy more trains. Hey, so it's February. I defeated the January challenge and bought my 3rd Emerald Knight today. Yay!
Oh wow.
So,
Three Emerald Knights.
speaking of the
Wow.
January
Do
challenge,
you have the Emerald Knight, James?
I'm parting it together still. I need,
piece that together.
I think, 2 parts that have decals on them, and maybe like one of the big wheels for it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one with the expensive windows?
Yeah, the car
Yep.
had that was one. We've talked about this. Why didn't they make extra cars for it?
Yes, yeah, because it's just your massive locomotive, your tender, and one passenger
car.
wagon.
One car.
So that was almost in your criteria, except it didn't have tracking.
Yep. I would, but I'd still say that's 3, even though
Yeah.
usually the locomotive and tender. For the sake of the video,
Yeah.
I said a locomotive and a tender would be separate, because you could count those as they have different connections.
Yeah.
Oh, so because I do things for spite. When I had the kids making fun of me because of my Thomas the Tank Engine stuff, I did a video just with tenders with
Oh,
no
really?
locomotive, because some of the locomotives have the motor
Motor
in the tender, and that,
Okay.
that triggers people for some reason. You see
That's
this trainer
trains
going
are-
around pulling a
yeah.
train.
So he mentions the January challenge. So the brick adjuster left me a comment for Save Your Money March challenge.
Somebody's got to help me stop now in February.
Well, and then we got when is the moving ban? Isn't that in March? Is that in that
Yeah,
gift,
I
or
think
is
it's into February.
it the end of February? Well,
Oh, it's in February. Yeah, it's
okay. Well,
Yeah,
then-
like
it's the middle. I think it's the
Yeah,
middle.
the,
of February.
the delivery truck, I think, is going to be, I want to say somewhere close to the 20th.
okay. Okay.
I really should keep up with Lego news.
I hadn't been for a while, and thankfully I just saw somebody's video about
Yeah.
it the other day. But it's sometime mid-February is the delivery truck, and end of February is the ambulance.
I'm gonna have to pay attention then, because I kind of want the delivery truck. So
Kyle Jones. What is it? Kale Jones. What is it?
Kyle.
Kyle. Super fans of Disney know the Oswald story, says Joey, who knew the Oswald story.
yeah. Well,
Dude Jude, hey Joey, Jabbo, and Earl, what a long one. I can't remember what y'all talked about first. Or am I
Neither
just
can
getting
we.
old? Next episode is 67. You are correct, Dude Jude. Y'all keep up the good work. Thank you.
yeah.
Chaz's Brick Builds, love the podcast videos. Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Gears and bricks. I think that there are actually 3 or 4 friction pins in black, 2 stud length. One is older, extra ridges, no slots, very difficult to remove from builds. 2 is the same as 1, but possibly with slots. This one I'm not sure exists, but I think it does. 3 is the most common with slots at each end and in the middle with older plastic. And 4 is the same as 3, but with the newer plastic. I suspect from plant-based plastic. But plastic is always plant-based, so how does
That's
that work?
another problem with new parts, and the plant-based plastics look different than the
Yep.
oil-based plastics. and you put them in the same drawer.
I've said before, the company I work for used to supply polycarbonate to Lego. And it's foggier looking now. It's not as well. There's the foggy looking, and there's some of it's yellow. But I found out, that we're not supplying it anymore. That it's the company that used to be BASF. Well, that when I bought that BASF set, I ended up doing some research, and Lego's now buying from another company and not the company that I work for. So, there you go.
There you go. SG. I checked a few times the comments on the latest podcast to see if anyone responded to my comment. I watch the new podcast in small sections whenever I can from Friday to Monday. And on Tuesday, I watch the rest of it. So I count for about 15 views. Thank you. Update on my trains. I have an empty 105 M2, 1,100 square feet.
Yeah, I'm really bad about not commenting back on the podcast, because if I comment or heart them, then they disappear, and then they do for me. So, but
so
I need to go and reply.
Yeah, I should do better.
So he has an empty 105 M2. I don't know what that 1,100 square feet apartment available near my house until the end of March. I'm thinking about putting my trains up there for a few weeks. I really enjoyed the podcast. Now going back to catch up with the old ones while sorting my Lego. Only 7 more to go.
Oh, wow.
I appreciate that. He's dedicated.
Yeah.
Oh, and also greetings from Dakota. I hope he is listening. Greetings, Dakota.
Yeah. We said his name. He'll perk up.
So the problem, he said he's got an empty apartment available until the end of March. It might take him to the end of March to get all his trains
stuff
in there.
Yeah.
And then he's got to turn around and get them out.
Yeah.
I say go for it, though.
Tony Montana, LOL, you mentioned me. Cool. Tony Montana is obviously not my real name, and I've never been to Miami. But that is my favorite movie. Hey, it's Jabo Hosco. Mayo's back. I don't know what a TTTE guy, what does that mean?
Huh?
What is that shorthand for?
TTTV?
A TTTE guy.
Oh, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, okay. And I've gone back and forward.
I have to think about it.
I've gone back and forward with Jabo before about what a train is. I've never heard someone call a locomotive a car before. Normally, a locomotive is a car if it's part of a 2 or 3 car set, diesel or electric multiple unit. The New York subways are electric multiple units. I have 5 brickheads, and I had to tell my followers I don't collect them.
So
I only buy them to meet thresholds for free shipping and gift with purchases. That sounds just like me.
Yeah.
Same as CMFs or Dot Pack Rip Dot. Rest in peace, Dots.
I got to look back at some of the old Lego descriptions of some of their old trains, because some of them they got dumb names. Train without motor.
Yep. Yeah.
Train with 5 cars.
That.
So I got to see how they name
just
their
like
train.
locomotive. And
Right.
I'm telling you, this train thing is gears and bricks. Isn't a train referring to things that trail behind? So
No.
either the cars trail behind a locomotive and make it a train, or maybe a car has wheels that train behind other wheels, or a wedding train, or a gear train. I'd like a training course about trains. My own train is called a train, no matter which car or locomotive it has. I guess I could go either way. By the way, is a 2x4 a train of studs?
Oh, no.
Is it considered a side-by-side?
Well, 2x4 was the original train wheel.
And is it the rarest train in all Lego history? It very well will be.
A rare 2x4.
A single locomotive is a train if it's moving down the track.
Mm-hmm.
I like that answer.
Sin Killer Tachikawa. Yeah, I'm not a Bionicle Uber fan, but half of the appeal of the Throwbots was the disc, and the Bionicle the mask. I took one look at this promo set and was like, why would I want this? Personally, I feel like Lego should just do more in the way of reproductions. not just with Bionicle, but with the classic sets in general. With sets like Forestman, they tried to reinvent the wheel, yet sets like Pizza to Go reissues still hold their value.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it'd be like
Yeah.
if for train enthusiasts, they decided we're just going to go with the narrow gauge stuff now.
Mhm.
We're not going to make any of this 6 wide track or 6
Right.
trains anymore. We're just going to do the narrow gauge, like that little promotion or that white and blue train.
Right.
That's what we're going to make now.
So did
That's
you
what
run
they did
out
for
and get
Bionicle fans.
did you run out and get the Bionicle gift with purchase, James?
I did not. No, I
Don't feel bad.
unfortunately
Don't feel like the Lone Ranger.
Mm-mm.
trying to spend less, and I've been spending my money on the World City.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
How
Buy
far?
what
How
you
many,
want.
how many of those do you need?
if you include the little poly bags, there's 2 poly bags that each have a figure in them. I most likely won't pick those up because, I'll just have the figure. I think the only one I need left is the separate locomotive that goes with the train car I had in my recent video.
The
for the
10157.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you even
Because my grandpa, he had the cargo train, he had the
Okay.
crossing, the
Oh,
crane, and all the track pieces. And I used to always play with it there, and now it's been since passed on to me.
Mhm.
And I just placed a few BrickLink orders to get the parts for those that were missing, things that had disappeared or were taken by other siblings or cousins throughout the years. And I think that's it.
Cool.
Because I picked up the train shed
Right.
Uh,
maybe a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And so maybe you can answer this question that I've wondered for, I don't know, 20 years. What is World City? What is that supposed to be?
I don't know.
World City.
I guess any city that could be anywhere in the world, I guess. That's what I would say.
that's a good answer. That's actually a
Yeah.
pretty good answer. Brian from Battery Powered Bricks, he said episode 63. I think that was right about the time I linked the podcast on my channel. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
Maybe.
We're getting all the views from Brian.
There we go.
John Bocatura. This is part of the comments, me trying to pronounce these
Pronounce
names.
everything. I'm trying to follow along with you.
What do you guys think of the classic space set 1593 named Super?
Oh,
Oh, that's one of those ones like the
was just
M-Tron
a-
one.
yeah, it was just instructions, right? Supermodel
Yeah.
build. Yeah. There's not even a picture, or it's not coming up. One or the other. Huh? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know which one that is.
Do
Oh,
the
there it
things
is.
that if they only released an instruction manual, do those count as sets?
Is that like one that you had an instruction manual? If you had these 3 sets, you could build this.
That may have been a 3-in-1.
Yeah.
Right? They might have boxed 3 sets together to make the set. Oh,
There it is.
Okay.
it says instructions,
Yeah.
supermodel building instructions.
Yep.
6880 and 6929 are used to make this model.
Interesting.
Huh.
I didn't know about that.
Those are so for a guy like me, that means to get 1593, I have to have 2 copies of 6880 and 6929.
If I was
But
to
first-
chime,
Go ahead.
But first-
Jake.
I would say that as a collector, you would need the actual instruction booklet for this build, and then you would need the other 2 sets, and then that would, in my idea, that would complete your collection. And I don't
There you
know
go.
if you can say that that's its own set, but if you have the instruction manual and those 2 sets, that in my eyes would complete your collection because
Yeah.
you could have either 2 builds or the 1 build.
So that's obviously an older set. How do you think you would procure that instruction manual?
It's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
It exists. It's
Well,
like
how would you have gotten it back in the day even?
True.
Oh,
a mail-in, perhaps, or it's like the What's the Umtron one called? Super.
Yeah. I said no pop quizzes.
There were two ways of getting it. It came in where you can mail off for it, or it came in a box of the 3 sets sold together.
Okay, yes,
okay,
yes.
Sets with 3
You could send right.
Huh.
Well, so the cheap version of that instructions doesn't ship to the United States, and I'm not paying $70 for those instructions. So.
I guess you could if you had the other set then without the instructions.
If you go on, can you get the instructions online?
Probably, but that doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't consider that.
Doesn't do you any good.
It doesn't help me, Dad.
You wanted to
And this
build
is,
it.
as Lego gets to where they're trying to get us to where there's going to be online instructions only. There will not be printed instructions.
Right.
These questions now, like if I found one for the Super Star Destroyer, the minifigure one that Lego made Joey found it, I should say. The one that you found.
Yeah. Okay.
It's 6211. And it's like, is that the same thing as this 1593, except they never actually printed it?
Ooh. I don't know. Are you saying is there instructions for it or not?
No, those are instructions, but they were online only.
Online. Okay. Yeah.
But they could do the same thing, and they're selling. They're not selling, but they're making alternate building instructions on VIP website for mosaics and things like that. And
yeah,
I don't think they'll ever do anything like that 1593 again.
No, I agree. Yeah. But back when they did that, it was not really an option to go online. And
there was no digital. Nobody had digital access.
Right. So I think it's just a progression. The VIP stuff and the downloadable stuff is just a progression from that, where they had an alternate build. It is also, it was also a gimmick for them to try to hook you into buy. You probably had one of the sets, maybe you even had 2. Now you need to go buy the 3rd or the 2nd, to complete that because you got these instructions. So either way, it was an encouragement
for this reason.
Yeah, because you got to buy 3 to get 3 sets.
Go
ahead. How many you got left?
Just a couple more. Pixelated Dreams says I stopped collecting BrickHeads soon as I couldn't get the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Oh.
Total of 7 sets. 7 of the 14 BrickHeads UK side couldn't get unless it was on eBay. Yeah,
there's Lego movie things and stuff like that.
If you're going to be a completist,
mm-hmm.
I just quit them because I lost interest because it became too many. Brian's Brick says, great show. Thank you. Sin Killer Tachikawa says, Hobby Lobby is a wild company. Let me quote one of the best news headlines. Hobby Lobby agrees to forfeit 5,500 artifacts smuggled out of Iraq.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to that story. That's and that's wild company is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got rid of the 40% off coupon, and I never have been back.
Yeah,
I've been back a couple times.
Just to get my model rockets there.
Yeah. Oh no! Don't tell me you do model rockets too.
Yeah. They do a lot.
It's like this is weird for me.
We probably have a lot of similarities.
Similar interests.
Do you have a basement, James?
No, I'm actually in a garage at a family's house for now until I have like substantial funds to have my own nice place.
Well, I'm in Louisiana, so we don't have basements here. So
we do have basements, but I don't have any like my family members. The basements they're not like nice basements. They're more or less your furnace and your
right
storage. Not like a nice finished basement.
Is that all of them, Earl?
That's all of them.
Well, look at that. We're 2 hours again.
It's becoming the new norm.
Oh my goodness.
It's the new norm.
James, it's been good, and we'll have to do it again at some point. And
definitely, I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for coming.
And yeah, we all enjoy your channel. It's a great channel. So
Thank you. No, I enjoy
Yeah,
your guys' channels
what I
as
really
well.
enjoy is how you make the headline on your thumbnails, and then like 30 seconds into the video, you've already answered it. Okay, if you don't want to watch anymore, goodbye.
Yeah, I figured, when I started the channel, my goal was to, show people my collection, builds I do, and mainly educate people on how BrickLink works, because I feel like through the past 5+ years, every day I'm always learning something new with BrickLink, and if I can get that information out there for others, it would be easier for them to start a store or continue with the store they have. And now I then finally realized, well, if I'm already creating a good video, there are other viewers that might enjoy to learn something quickly, and then they could either stick around and watch the rest of the video, or they have their answer and they could leave me a like and sign off.
I think it's a really good format. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So keep it up.
I will.
And if you people out there that have been watching this video want to see more, be sure to go check out LeggoMyJamesO. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a BrickLink store. He's got model rockets. He's got trains. He's got Star Wars.
Everything you could collect.
And leave a question below. What was the word of the day, Mardigrasman?
It was the word of the day was it was a trivia question. How many shirts?
Yeah.
How many videos has James worn that shirt in?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know the answer, but I'll figure it out.
Well, if you like this podcast, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't like it, James isn't going to let go.
Oh,
we'll try and do better.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Take